inflation now hovering near 5%. Americans still feeling the pain when it comes to the prices that they're paying for gas, groceries, and rent. And many saying that their pay isn't keeping up with these consistently higher prices. Here to discuss this is the host of Wise Guys on Newsmax, John Tabacco. John, always great to have you here on Saturday Agenda. Talk to me a little bit about the numbers that we saw this week. Not a lot of relief for Americans.
No, that's for sure. And, one of the great things Wise Guys allows us to do is get out and talk to regular folks in the street. And when you say inflation hovering around 5%, a lot of the people out there are saying no to that because people are saying the core things like their energy costs, like their heating bills. Now people are turning on the air conditioner, their electric bills, and still their food costs are skyrocketing way more than 5%. And, sometimes I'm the voice of doom and gloom, but I also want people to understand something that I've been saying for a while. Listen to the Fed. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said a few months back, we must continue to raise rates to fight inflation, and there will be pain. That's been happening. The big pain is now it blew up a few banks. So they don't have that tool in their arsenal right now. They're tinkering with the idea of maybe raising it 25 basis points to try to, thread the needle a little bit. But every time they move it up, we run the risk of blowing up more banks. And just this week, Warren Buffett said he's basically divested from all U.S. banks. So somewhere in there could be a problem. And the people in the streets are feeling it where it hurts the most in their pocketbook.
Hey, John, so what I see is going on is obviously you just mentioned we all see inflation is going higher. And yet now we've had retail sales that decreased, manufacturing, I think, also decreased. How worried are you, and the economy is slowing, how worried are you about stagflation confronting the American people in the near future?
Well, I've been worried about this for a while, Tom, and that's a great point because, they're saying, well, we might have inflation under control. Not for the right reasons. We don't have inflation under control because they're taking actions to slow inflation. What they're doing is they're slowing the job market. We've seen all the major brokerage, all the major banks, all the big companies say layoffs are ahead. So what they said is they want to cool the job market and they want to slow business. They want to slow spending. So that's working. So it may look like inflation is kind of hanging in there, but really it's because people are spending less and less money. And Kilmany, recently there was a study, I don't remember who did it, but they said 60% of Americans are saying they have to dip into some kind of savings to pay their regular monthly bills. And that's bad for people because we don't want people going in their savings to survive.
It's such a dangerous situation. John, I also wanted to get your take on the Walmart closures that we're seeing across the country. I mean, is this a product of the times right now, or is this a change in business?
Well, look, there's a few things that work. I like to keep track of the really woke companies. And if you look at the Nikes, the Netflix, the Walmarts, all the companies that jumped on the woke bandwagon, they're all experiencing some problems or another. Now you see CVS and Walmart also shutting down stores in these really blue cities and states where we have DAs gone wild, mostly Soros DAs gone wild. And it's just not cost effective for them to keep stores open in places where the criminals can steal $1,000 worth of stuff and not be prosecuted. I mean, anyone with a sane business mind would close those stores. So they're basically forced into an existential threat in those stores because of the crime and the bail laws, I think.
Yeah, a number of Walmart stores closing in Chicago. U.S. stocks, we know, picked up some ground last year from 2022's bear market, but investors are still dealing with quite a difficult market. What are your projections over the next few months, John?
Well, I think the market needs a really full clean out over the next few months. I think the government has pumped so much artificial stimulation into this market that it looks like it's up there. But the truth of the matter is it's a house of cards. And again, I'll just go back, Kilmany, to what I said. Listen to the Fed. And there's an old saying on Wall Street, don't fight the Fed. All the mainstream is saying that, well, maybe there's not going to be a recession. This from the March notes, which you don't hear a lot about, but I want to quote it. Given their assessment of potential economic effects of the recent banking developments, the staff's projection at the time of the March meeting includes a mild recession starting later this year with a recovery over the subsequent 2 years. years. So the Fed's own words, I copied it, printed it, that they expect a recession later this year, and then it'll take 2 years to recover. So I would tell people, be careful of your cash, keep it in money market accounts, and don't keep more than $250,000 in any single account because anything could happen.
All right, John Tabacco, great to see you. Appreciate you being here. Be sure to check out John's show, Wise Guys with John Tabacco, every Saturday night right here on Newsmax. That's going to start at 10 p.m. Eastern. Watch as John and his fellow Wise Guys take to the streets of New York. Again, you will not want to miss it.